Good to go?
Yep, all good.
Perfect. Welcome back to the Pinnacle Podcast. Today's guest is a professional mixed martial artist with a record of 8 wins, 0 defeats, currently signed to Bellator MMA, with 4 of those wins coming by way of submission. He's represented Ireland at the IMAF World Championships 5 times, all over the world in places such as America, Romania, Bulgaria. Currently trains in SBG HQ and holds a Jiu-Jitsu purple belt under coach John Kavanagh. This man is without question a trailblazer for young MMA fans and aspiring fighters across Ireland. But not only that, outside the cage, he is a devout Catholic, a dog lover and a proud Drogheda man. Fights out of Yellow Ballard Drogheda, County Louth, Ireland, and very soon we will see him return to action. He faces Darius Maffey in the SSC Arena, Belfast on March 22nd. Do not miss it, tickets available now. It's going to be good. He is the one, the only, my good friend Ciaran Clarke. Welcome.
Thanks lads, thanks very much.
That was a bit long, wasn't it?
Something to that.
Perfect. So, I suppose we'll start off at the very beginning. So, MMA, tell us before MMA, how did that come about? How did you get into it, or what was the crack?
Well, suppose really from the start, like, you know, where the fire or the spark started for combat, I suppose, would be just growing up. I was myself and my brother, which would be 2 years younger than me, you know, as normal as kids, you'd be killing each other and, you know, that kind of crack, you know. And I was the eldest of 4 in my house, and I was on reared by me single mother and me nanny, and so I was the eldest, and I kind of had this kind of, you know, man of the house thing, you know what I mean, like, you know, as a little kid, you know what I mean, but like that was my little mentality, like you know, like if, you know, and again,
the wee brothers,
this kind of crack, you know what I mean, if I hadn't kicked off, the little sisters having problems, they come to me, so I kind of had this little mad responsibility in my head, and like that, I, you know, as I got older, I realised being the man of the house is actually cleaning up after yourself, you know, helping out in the gaff, you know what I mean? So, but like I said, I had this little thing in my head, like that was like, you know, I had to be, you know, that kind of figure. Or,
yeah.
So I had that as well, and then growing up, then obviously, you know, getting into your normal, you know, street fights or whatever. You're growing up as kids and that, you know what I mean? Just little things like that. But like that, as I said, I would have took like, you know, I'd have thought about them a lot more, if that makes sense. I'd have been a lot more annoyed if, you know, it was better, or like, I should have done this or that, you know, like that, stupid things, you know what I mean? It would have bothered me, it would have hurt me pride a lot more, if that makes sense. For maybe them reasons, I don't know, but like that, would have been like, you know, hurt me in that sense, you know. And then
is that why? Was that conscious thought? I want to learn how to fight.
To fight is a lot different. You know, as you know, to fight is not just physical, and a fight isn't a fight until it's there's resistance. That's when it's hard. That's when you have to fight back. Do you ever hear lads? I'm sure he's from the dog here, a party time. You know, he's all about, oh, your man knocked him out one boxing. That's not a fight. Yeah. Your man didn't have to fight. You know, he's a hard fella, and that's not a fight. That doesn't impress me. You know what I mean? Like, a fight is when there's resistance. So what's that mean? That could be a sickness, an illness. They had to fight. That's a fight. Okay. Not, you know, being a bully. You know what I mean? So again, like that, I always would have stuck up with myself. So I would have always, you know, if I got hit, I would have hit. You know, I was always just, you know, that was my mentality. You know, and again, like that, I was really stubborn as a kid, and if, you know, if it was playing, I would have wanted to catch it, not to be running away from it. You know, I just had that mentality, and I always just like had that kind of like, you know. I don't know, that kind of thing, so I kind of had, that was my little kind of mentality as a kid, funny enough. I don't know where that came from, but again, I could have been from that, I don't know, having to be the protector in my head, I don't know, like I said, I don't know, it's just as I'm getting older now, I can evaluate myself and say, right, is that why I thought like that? Okay. So that was that, and then I started, did a bit of boxing like every young fella does, kind of growing up, and you know, did the spars and the whole lot, was going to compete, and I really enjoyed that, I really loved it, you know. That would have been the start of the Moneymore Boxing Club with Joe Murphy and Joe Leonard, the two of them are dead now. One of them was the mayor at the time, but the two like, they were old men at the time as well, and the two of them are dead now, but did me spars and the whole lot, you know, hard spars, sparring the travellers, and you know, got you certainly get that toughness of the smelly gloves and the head guards. And then did a bit of that, and then went to Holy Family Boxing Club, and then that's like a really good gym, like, you know, really good gym, like, you know, recently I think they had 4 national champions, which hasn't been done in a long time, And just loved the train, loved how hard it was, because I done Gaelic and football growing up, soccer and that, and like I always, I just loved how hard it was, the physicality of it. And again, did me spars and all of that. I really loved it myself. My brother competed a bit, and then stopped. Then I think I broke my hand or something, not in training or anything, acting a maggot, and so didn't go back. Teenage years, just grown up, and then my mates in school at the time were doing MMA, and they were like, "Oh, you should come and do this, and like you'd be good at it." Because again, like that, I was real stubborn, and they were like, "You should come, you'd be good. Like we're training every night." And next day, I went with them. I bit the bullet, went with them, and I had back then, like I had like a headlock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I tapped the boys out, and I was like, "Oh, like I'm tapping these boys out. Like I must be alright, like I must have a knack for this, And then anyway, when I kept going, little did I realise the boys weren't going much at all. So they weren't calling me, they weren't going at all much. So they weren't obviously experienced themselves. And then that was it. Then just the Gaelic fizzled out as I knew I was gonna go to compete. And
what age at this point?
I was just before my 16th birthday, and then when I got serious every night of the week, it would have been when I was maybe a few months in before my first fight, so that would have been 16 every night, 5 nights a week, like, you know what I mean, getting up before you reach at the time, going for my runs. Obviously from then the diet was all about making weight and
that
eating
does that all
healthy.
just come from wanting to be able to defend yourself, or was there any early influences or anyone in particular, whether it be coaches or actual fighters?
Good to be again, influences would have been like my dad and my uncles and that, they would have been like, when I was growing up and that, like, because my family, my parents had me young, so they were young having me themselves, but like when I was growing up and that, I would have heard like, "Oh, your dad's a hardy fella," or your uncle's no messing with the boys, you know what I mean? And this kind of crack. So I was like, and again, I didn't grow up with them, and they grew up in the far side of the town in Rathmullen, like, so it would have been like,
Did you feel you had to live up to that?
Yeah, it was like like that, like, and I thought like that's the way I could have maybe won me dad over on, and I always had a great relationship with that. My dad to this day never, but like that, my dad would ring you up to this day and be joking, be like, "Is that the second hardest man to draw?" That kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, so like they would have influenced me a lot, and they, like, it wouldn't have been them telling me around, it would have been like other people, "Oh, the boys are tough men," and this. So then in my head, like, it was like, that's what you have to be, and they grew up, their dad wasn't there much for them as well, so it was kind of like similar upbringing as well. And I was like, so that was, again, all these things influenced my mind and growing up and stuff, and that's, I suppose, how the spark for it. And then obviously it always had a longing for it, because that was me, was in the back of my mind, so. And
have they ever came through and admitted nowadays that maybe you killed them?
Yeah, maybe they are the second hardest man in the world. But yeah, just they would be influences, and that was me kind of, again, like I said, that's how I evaluate maybe my thought processes and how it came about, really,
Yeah. Tell us about your training regimen. Like, would you be very routine or more random kind of, with regards to your training?
No, I'm literally like, if I'm 10 minutes out of my day, I'm checking the time, I'm like, right, okay, that might have to be a bit later now, and if that gets any further in the day, that gets harder for me. So I'm very
routine,
literally, like, to the minute. Like, if you had to text me yesterday and said, "Can we do this tomorrow?" I'm like, no. It's like, we're doing the next, like, I need to know in advance, or, or like some people there, it's just like, "Oh, here, just give me a hand with this box here and I'll throw it into the van," and I'm like, fuck, like, how long is this going to take? Is this, I'm training an hour and I have to eat at this time, and I have to bring my dogs out, and I get really, and I don't, again, like that, as I said, I'm starting to get, to read, is that a control thing? Is that like, because I'm not in control? Because routine is you're in control of your life, so whereas when I look at other people who don't have routine, it's like they don't have control of their life, you know what I mean? So like, and like, that's not to be pointing fingers around, they can be just as happy as me around, but like for me, I'm like,
you need that.
I need that, I just need that, you know what I mean? And I just need routine, I need to know.
What kind of effect do you think it would have on you if you didn't have it?
To be honest, I'm so I start to create habits to create a routine. So, you know...
Give us an example of that.
So I was away in France training with, some people might know, I was away training with Conor McGregor. That was sprung upon me. It was like, boom, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, you're going tomorrow. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? So that was tough.
Yeah.
So then, like, that long, then 2 weeks was over there. Ended up in 14 days. Sorry, we were supposed to go for 12 days, ended up in 14 days with flights and stuff. So that was even tough then, you know what I mean? But then I had no routine. I was like, what am I doing? Like, when are we training? What time are we training every day? You know, I was like, right. So, again, like that, Conor was out of camp. I was in camp. I was like 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out. He was just getting back into training. Not getting back into training, but like, he's just getting lads over to spar and keep sharp. And then, you know, we half holiday mode, you know, enjoying life. And I'm still training twice a day or whatever. But like, whereas with me, it was like, I'm in the thick and thin of it here, you know what I mean? I'm full diet. The boys are eating, you know, steaks and shrimp, and I'm you know, watching the food and that, and you know, and had a great time. But for me, it was like I created a routine over there. I get up every day. I go to the certain coffee shop every day, buy the same thing. I tell you, people looking at me, he's mad, you know. You go to the coffee shop, go to the church, get me little bits in the shop, back, train, back again. Like, I created a routine there, you know. So I think no matter what in my life, and I don't know if like this sport has done that for me or like, but every time I think when I was growing up and stuff, I'd even brush my teeth a certain way, and like I just have to have certain things in order, if that makes sense, you know. So like I said, if I didn't have it, I'd say I'd probably still, even if it was bad habits or bad things in your life, I'd create a routine in that, if that makes sense, you know. Which I think that's dangerous as well, because I'm so happy that I found the sport, because, you know, as we know, and there's a link between addicts and that, you know, it's such extremism as a routine, and there's correlation there, you know what I mean? That's why a lot of like addicts end up going into triathlons or even marathon running and all that, because it's such the extremity of it and how extreme it is. So again, like I said, I think I would create a routine.
Do you think no matter what you've done in your life, you would have needed something that just consumed your every thought? Like?
Yeah, I think so, because if I'll tell you why, because like growing up, I was a obsessive person.
Okay.
And I am, like, I get obsessive, and what a sport to be doing, because there's so many different things to obsess over. You know, I obsessed over weightlifting at a time and getting more better athlete, running, certain type of training, you know, looked into a lot of zone 2 training. I was just, when I heard you mention the dogs there, when I literally want to know everything. You know what I mean? I want to know everything. I want to know it all. Like, you know what I mean? I just get so obsessed about it, you know? Okay. When I'm watching a certain fighter, I get obsessed with them. I watch a certain... So, like that, I just think that's just the way I was, you know what I mean? So,
that kind of plays into... we have here mental preparation and mindset before fights, but even scrap before fights, just in general. Do you think the fact that you train so often every day, you know you're putting the work in, does that have a factor in your mental game, your confidence and everything else?
Yeah, it does, because...
Is that where the confidence comes from?
Yeah, like, it's like, I know I left no stone unturned, and I do see the things I don't want to do, I do them, you know what I mean? So, if I you know, look, there's things that will hurt you, you know what I mean? Like, as in, you know, I don't know, doing it a half an hour ice bath, it might kill you, you know what I mean? So I know how to push my limits, you know. So whereas what I mean is, like, you know, I always do the hard things, you know, within me, you know, and sometimes most of the time it's probably I do too much, and but I just know that I'm doing the hard yards, as they say, and like that's all up to me. The rest is God's plan, you know what I mean? That I don't know the results. I don't know. All I do is I prepare myself the best I can to be ready for every situation, and to, you know, to prepare myself, you know what I mean? And that's like that, as you said, when I go into these fights, I genuinely have a lot of confidence, because I know I've done everything, you know what I mean? So
you touched on something there, and I have a quote here. I read this about a week ago, and I wrote it down. I said I must say that to Ciaran when he comes on, and it's this. It says, pray like it's all up to you. Pray like it's all up to God, but work like it's all up to you. And that made me think of you.
I love that. I love that. You know, it's like, you know, again, you can dissect that and all that, because again, and that's another thing about me, I'm a very literal person, you know. If you say I don't understand grey and black and white, you know what I mean? So that I'd really look into that, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'd start, you know, nitpicking that, you know, and like, but again, like you said, like that, you know, you just have to, you have responsibility in yourself to be as prepared as you can, and then again, like that, as I said, you know, when the times do get tough, and like I said, everything is from God, which is given to you. Even your trials and the tough times. That's where people think, oh, like, why is there evil in the world and all that. And I don't want to get too much into that, but like, that's actually where, you know, in suffering you can be close to God, and that's an opportunity to get closer. Okay. And then on the back end of it, you build a relationship, and then again, like that, there's two philosophies in life. There's there's the feast and then the hangover, or there's the fast and then the feast, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I think is, like, I'm fasting now, and please God, it's the feast. Or if not, look, I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's the way I kind of treat. You know what I mean? There's only two ways of looking at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like that, as I said, you know, it's just I really like that quote. But again, it's just all about me being prepared as much, and then when the calling, I know I'll always have the calling of God to, you know, to get me through things or whatever. So
you touched on something there that we wanted to speak about also. We have here, you know, times where you've suffered injuries, and obviously that would have an effect on your routine. It would have an effect on your mind, many things, you know, based off the way you live your life. Have you experienced times where, you know, you had an injury or anything that stopped you from training and had an effect on you?
Oh yeah, big time. Many injuries. Yeah, like, to be honest though, I've had about, you know, I've had like 2-3 days where it would have been, like, you know, tough. I don't like really using that, but, like, you know, it would have been tough for me, say, you know what I mean? That I wouldn't be used to that, like, you know, again, not in control. That's the routine. You're not in control, you know. So again, you know, it's funny though, because just on a side note, when you look at the fights and stuff, like, that's what John would say about me. He'd say, like, you know, you're very calm in the uncontrollables, you know, that getting dropped, or you know. But again, that's why I lean on God, you know what I mean? So I ask for, you know, because you can't do anything on your own, you know. So I know that. So that's that. And then as well, when things get tough, like, it's tough. It is tough, you know. But then again, I start to, you know, if I can't do this, I'll do that then, you know what I mean? If I can't run, well, I'll maybe do this, or, you know, so there's always something like that. I never sit and just settle, you know, unless I'm told to take 3 days. Or,
do you find that hard?
Yeah, it is hard. It is very hard, but like that, again, I adapt, you know. I'm able to, you know, Lauren, my girlfriend Lauren, you know, my partner in nearly 14 years, she'd be very good with me, you know, talking to me stuff, and, you know, and she'd be like, listen to me, and, you know, I'd have to, like, really, you know, take on that advice. And again, like that, if, you know, John told me, which he has before, pull it back today, don't come up to Dublin, I just train at home, and okay, then that's it, like, that's, like, right, that's it. Or training back home in SKF Drogheda, and, like, some of the coaches would be like, you're flying there, like, you know, like, maybe pull it back this week, you're peaking too early, and I'd be like, I'd take that on board, you know. So things like that, like, which help me, you know what I mean? It reassures me doing the right thing, you know, as well, if that makes sense.
What's, you know? The longest injury you've had?
Longest injury probably was about, I'd say about 3-4 months.
Not being able to compete, or
not being able to compete is different now.
Not being able to train.
Not being able to train, but I've been about 3-4 months properly. You know, like, that was, I tore my labrum. I was actually sparring a UFC fighter. I think he's cut now, sorry, but I forget his name now. That's too many digs to the head there. That's madness. Anyway, he'll come back to me. Anyway, sparring, he used to come over. Macwan Americani. And he's a wrestler. And he suplexed me. And I posted my hand on the mat and done my labrum. And I literally actually went the week after with Brad Katona to corner him the UFC. And I remember, like, I was like, Brad, I'm going to be no use to you in this warm-up. I can't even do a bit of training with him. Like, I literally couldn't put on my jacket on my t-shirt. I'd have to, like, bend down, like, you know, I literally couldn't lift this. So that was tough, like, you know. But again, like that, I was able to walk around, just hit right hands, you know, run when I could actually. But it's these little things. And I've had bad injuries, to be honest, like, you know, staph infections, you know, stitches on my eyeball. Man injuries. That was mad. Yeah, like that was excruciating pain when it happened.
How did you get that injury?
I was actually coaching a class and was doing that. One of the young lads in the gym, John Thorne, he was only about 15 at the time, just coaching like.
Yeah.
I shot in on a single leg, but he had his hand like that, you know, and I shot in his eye, and I could literally feel his finger in my eye, just like wrenching. And I was just like, right lads, 3, 2, 1. And then I was just off for about 5 minutes. I'll never forget, like, just uncomfortness and just the pain, you know. And then my eye was like, you know, all bloodshot. And I ended up doing, I was like, well, should I go to the doctor or not? I don't know. And we actually ended up doing a 15-hour mountain challenge, 15 peaks on that weekend in the Moor Mountains with me and my friends. We were camping out and like, you know, shouldn't have been doing that with the eye exposed and everything. Yeah. And then I was like, no, this isn't right, this eye after it. And I said, I'll go to the doctor. And they were like, no, yeah, you're going to need stitches on the eyeball. I was like, oh. So that was a mad one as well. But yeah, just mad little injuries, yeah, mad.
You touched on your girlfriend Lauren now. I'm interested just to hear from yourself. Over, how long are you training?
It's 2011.
Right, I'll not add up the years. I'm not the best at maths, but a long time anyway. Like, have you ever came across times where it was tough to balance your personal life with your professional commitments?
Every day, like. You know, it's this is very hard. You know, it's very hard. And look, again, you choose your hard. I chose this life, and I love it. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, the life it has given me and everything, you know, but it is hard, you know, and again, like I said, you can choose your hard, you know, you can be up at 5:30 in the morning or 10 to 5 in the morning stuck in a van, and like my brother there, he's a plumber and going to sites and you know, coming home, you know, stuck in the M50 and, you know, so again, you can choose your hard, but like, yeah, like that, this is morning, evening, you don't switch off. It's not like when you're in camp, like, you know, like that's when I'm outside the camp. I enjoy the little things, like maybe getting down the proper and like actually just getting a nice meal and not worrying like to like, you know, because like that, that's all at the window. Like I'll be honest, like at the minute I really feel I haven't really been present fully with Lauren. Like at the minute, like that's your relationship's on hold basically for the 12 weeks. Genuinely, it's on hold. You're not going out for food. You're not having a normal lifestyle. You're not, you know, I have to go home. I'm bringing scales with me everywhere to weigh me food.
Really, yeah.
Like that's what it is, you know what I mean? And it's like.
You think that's an effect on her?
Oh, big time, yeah. And like honestly, only for her, she's a saint, and I know that. And I know no other person to put up with that, you know what I mean? And that's love, you know what I mean? You can't choose who you love, you choose who you love, and yeah, like obviously it's very, very tough, and I even like my little nephew at home, he's 5, like, and I feel I haven't even like played him or like, you know, I'm coming home and training, I'm watching fights, it's just hard to switch off, you know what I mean? And then like that I said, when I'm outside the camp, like it's like she tell me I don't really switch off that much, but I try to, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's very hard, you know. It's just while I have these opportunities now, I just want to take full advantage of them, you know what I mean, and just, you know, and again I do enjoy it, you know, but as well it does get very, very hard, you know what I mean, and like that it's, you know, but look, again, like I said, choose your hard, you know what I mean, and I chose this life and I love it, you know, and look what it's done for me. I'm sure you never want to talk to me here, right? You know what I mean, like, I mean, things like that, like, and you know, so
it'll be worth it in the end.
Exactly, and look, at the end of the day, I used to be very anxious about the future. You know, and of course, I'm not going to say I'm not, but like, I'm very content in my life to where I am, and I think that's more dangerous now when I'm fighting, because it's like, for the other guys, because like, when I was amateur and stuff, I really felt I had to win the world championship. Like, I need this, you know what I mean, and then it's like, no, mate, no, and it's like, I still feel like I'm not even, like, my next fight is 0, you know, it's just like, I just feel like, I think that's more, I have, my perspective on life is a lot different. You know what I mean? I know, like, I have the best things in my life to look forward to. What is that? Please God, having a family,
kids,
getting a house, kids. That's it for me. Okay. So, those things, when you put in perspective, actually, you know, they're the things, you know what I mean? But and like I said, it only makes me more dangerous, because you have these lads that are like fighting for a few $100 and it's like, they feel it's all or nothing, like, you know what I mean? And again, don't get me wrong, I was that, and maybe that's the mentality they got me to here, I don't know, but I'm just saying now, you know, it's different, you know, so.
Yeah.
And it allows me to, it doesn't have such a grip on me, you know, it allows me to actually, you know, be better, you know.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the end of part one. You're watching the Pinnacle Podcast with Ciaran Clarke. We'll be back soon.
Okay guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Pinnacle Podcast. I'm Tiernan, this is Jamie, and we're here with Mr. Ciaran Clarke. Before the break there, we were talking about training, preparation, early MMA. So we're going to talk about the financial aspects of it now, sponsorships in MMA.
Do you think it's something early on that made you consider quitting, or did you ever feel like, oh, is it even possible to live off this?
Yeah, definitely. I think right before my pro debut, it was like I was 24, and like you know that age yourselves, lads. 24 is like, you know, you're thinking, you know, you're still young, and
yeah,
I'm still young, but like you think like I'm 25 next year. You know, you think when you were, you know, young, 25 was like you'd have it all. You know what I mean? And little you realise you will not. Like, but you know, I was like, right, like, you know, it was just like. And like I said, I was in that mentality back then of like, this is all or nothing, like, you know. And I even remember before my professional debut, I was like, you know, the money situation. I used to work Saturday, Sundays, and train during the week. I do 24 hours on Saturday, Sundays, and I train all week, up and down Dublin and all that, and buses, Lewis's, and you know. So you know that was costing itself, and then obviously handing over a few quid to your mother because you're still living at home and having to live, you know what I mean, and like to have a bit of a life with your woman, like, you know what I mean, maybe she wants to go Lady Rockets and, you know, things like that, not that like Lauren wouldn't have been, you know, but like, you know, things like that, you know what I mean, the normal things, a little sense of pride of, you know, being able to do them things, you know what I mean, pay for me a lot. So yeah, like that was like, I was before my professional debut, and I was like, you know, and I was like, right, like, you know, this, like, it was getting tough. It was like, you know, I was going down to the, you know, the 6 of us living in my house, and you know, like even down to the washing and all that, like I was like, and then like my poor mother was doing all that, and then like, and I was literally getting little coppers, like a little cup, going down into like the free, so not the free, the portable washing machine. Washing, and there'd be little coppers. I could ever, it's mad, you know, you smell a copper, like little like 5 cents, and I'm putting in like to wash me clothes. You know what I mean? Like that was my money, like. And I can over to my girlfriend and throwing, like, and my girlfriend's mother Elaine, like she did me what, like, you know, I was just like that, like. I remember thinking like, oh, this, like, you know, this is like, you know, thinking like, and not again like that. It's I know I don't really like using them words, because again, like, there's, you know, there's a lot more tougher. But I'm just saying that was the situation. And I was just like, you know, please God, you know, it was tough at the time, in the sense, like, you know, it was like, and I could feel like, you know, my mother and that, like, never ever like say to me, like, you know, like, you know, never discourage me or anything. But I noticed like certain conversations people have me, like, you know, my daddy be like, oh, I seen that job there and that, and like, and you know, like, it'd be great, you could still train, and like, you know, and then my mother would say, oh, I seen such and such is taken on, and again, they never discouraged me or anything, but it was like, I could feel. And when you're in that situation, I think we talked about the Shane before, when you're in that situation, what you immediately feel off them is, straight away, is doubt. You feel doubt, and as soon as you feel that, you don't want that. It's just like, you don't want the people closest to you feeling, because then that's radiating off them, and you're like, so, because you might be doubting yourself, and then they're doubting you in their wars, and they're not.
Just doubles up.
And you're like, oh, you know, so that I was feeling a lot of that, you know what I mean? I was feeling this, like, and then obviously the Pro debut happened, Bellator, starting off on good money, and like being able to be like, you know, and then like, and that was down to my coach John Cavanagh, that was down to him, like, because like, you know, it paid off me staying amateur. I stayed amateur for 24 fights, and he said it to me tonight, he was like, I didn't think you'd ever go pro, you know, the way it was working out, and that's another thing, you know, if going professional, if staying the amateur route was a route, like an Olympic route, like you could, like, you know, get funded and that, I'd say it that, because like, I don't even think, like, I don't really like that, and to be honest, like, that's what got me into it, like, is, you know, the whole, not that didn't get me into it, but like, obviously growing up watching WWE, the entertainment side of it, I loved all that, you know, but like, for me as a person, that's not me. You know, I don't want to be the centre of attention walking in. Or, like, you know, I don't even think of it with walkers on. Like, I don't care, but I don't. I just want to do the fighting, the actual martial arts.
Yes.
So if that was a route, but then like I said, you know, you were going professional. This was your route to take to make money, and then I was like, John came to me with this contract, and it paid off that I stayed amateur that long.
Yes.
And then, you know, after my first, you know, win, 3 Arena, I got a few pounds, and I was able to pay off a few people that I owed a few quid and things like that. I was able to start driving. I, you know, built a garden shed at my back. Had my room for the first time in my life. 24 years, never had my own room.
Unbelievable.
And like, this was like, I won the lottery, man.
Yeah,
like, I was just content, and I am still, like, it's like, I am such a simple person like that. Like, these things were just so, you know, I don't know, it just made me life, you know what I mean? I was just like, I actually genuinely, lads, I genuinely thought I'd never drive. I thought I'd never the like, I couldn't see maybe never having the money. The situation I was, you know,
to be able to afford a car.
Yeah, I'm genuinely, like, you know, because my mum and dad at the time that were driving around either, and like they were like that was even a struggle for them to be like paying for a car, and it was like, you know, and then they, you know, it was like, you know what I mean, it was like, this is, you know, and like they were telling me like, you know, basically you need a job, you know what I mean? It's not just a job to pay for your training, it's a job to pay for, you know, so and then all these things started happening, and I was just like, this is unbelievable, you know. I was just blessed, you know. Yeah.
After the first fight, did that add a pressure? Were you like, oh, I've had this now, I'm after getting all these things, I need this now?
No. It was straight away. It was like I said, it made me more dangerous, because it was like, I'm not worrying about. I don't need, like, you know, I think I was watching the Ultimate Fighter before, and like there was this fella, his name was Josh or something, and it was in the Royal Hall. It was actually the fella in the Royal Hall spinning back kick, to be fair, and like now you could look at the two stories and you could say, right, the Royal Hall needed that, and worked out for him. But this guy Josh, I think his name was, he was like, I'm well off. He's like, I come from wealth, you know, I don't need to do this. I do this because I want to. And that mentality was like, the two people, it was like, no way, like, you know what I mean? And I've understood the two of them. First of all, I don't come from wealth, never inherited, you know, not coming from a working class, you know, didn't inherit any business or nothing. They're just normal working class people that I come from, you know what I mean? You know, grew up in a council house, still do live there, and you know, so don't come from that, which for he was wealth, but I'll get back to his mentality. But Uriah Hall was like, I need this, like, you know, I need to get to the UFC, you know, this is all I have. I had that mentality, and with Josh, I have his perspective, not his wealth or anything like that, but his perspective was, I'm doing this because I love it, and that made it more dangerous, because it was like, does that make sense? He was like, I want to do this, it takes the pressure away, and he was like, I want to do this, you know what I mean? He's going to keep going, he's going to, so like, again, I understood the two mentalities, and like, again, like that, come back to your question, that gave me that, it gave me that kind of like perspective, like, okay, no, you know, and then obviously you win more and more and more, and the money gets higher and the stakes get higher, and the more rises on you, the more pressure you put on yourself, and that's tough, you know what I mean? Like in this position, as I say here, I'm going to my 9th professional fight, 3 weeks. Of course, when they tell you this pressure, you know what I mean? It's,
of course.
But like that, as I said, I have a good perspective of my life, and again, it's making me more dangerous, but again, it's just making me more, I think as long as I'm loving it, which I am, and I heard a quote before by Nick Diaz, is like, you have to love this enough that you hate it. And I had this like me little, you know, growing up as me cover photo on Facebook, and I understood the mentality. It was like, you have to love it enough that you hate it. And what's he mean by that? You have to love it enough that you do the things you hate, and you have to hate the training. Like, I'd be like, when I'm doing these tough sessions, when I used to do the red zone running, or doing all this, you know, tough training and sparring these, you know, killers every day, and it's like, I'd rather be in the building site eating my breakfast roll than I know. So like, I kind of, I'm waking up at 5:30. I'd rather wake up at 5:30 than this crack, you know what I mean? But ultimately, what I mean by that is like, I know that's gonna, again, the fast to the feast. Does that make sense? So that's kind of my mentality, you know what I mean? So
And you said there you're coming into your 9th professional fight. It's just a quick one here. Is there anything in the MMA industry, more so the professional industry, that you're like, I'd love to change that? I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it is probably what gets everybody into it. But I just look at it now and it's like, I look at a lot of like, you know, again, these are world class athletes and they're acting like teenagers. And these are full grown men with kids and I'm looking at like 30-odd-year-old men and I don't want to be that. I don't, and I'm not now, and I'll never be. I don't want to be, and again, I'm not judging anybody, but it's just like I find it really, the way the sport is, and it's like really hard to sell yourself like that, and you're only paid 10 and 10 when you start the UFC, and don't get me wrong, like that's everybody's dream, and you know, unfortunately, I would have been that, I would have done that, and that's the cost you take for the dream, but like you know,
10,000 just to show up, 10,000 to win.
Yeah, and like, how can you live off that, or how can you have a family, or how could you know, like I said, like you're a 20-odd-year-old man, or a 30-year-old man, you're acting like a, you know, putting yourself out there and doing things maybe you never do, and what's that mean? Like calling people names and having this persona and acting like an actor, or I'll never be that either. You know, and again, that's not to judge anyone to be like, I'll never be like you. It's not like that. It's just like, that's not me and never will be, and it's like, I'm doing this for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
Not
for the competition.
And I know, like, people will be like, oh, you should call it such and such, and tell you, like, you need to talk more, and you need to, well, that's not me. You know what I mean? And like, the thing about Conor McGregor, that was who he was. That was his, I remember my first coach at the time, Conor Dillon, he fought him back in 2011. And it was a thing back then on the computers was boards.ie, and like that was how they trash talk. Conor was trash talking on that.
Yeah.
Like typing. He was like slagging on that, like, you know, getting in their heads on that, and like he was always that.
Yeah.
It's authentic. He is authentic. So I think it's when you're authentic, when you're yourself. People can get behind that, and they're like, see you for who you are.
Yeah.
Because as we know, we live in a world today is everybody's trying to be somebody else or trying to compare themselves, and I think it's just a freshness now to be like that now. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I love all the like when it's you. Like I watch Dr. Disrespect. I don't know if he's known, the streamer, and I love his like it's just gas. I love his personality, and again, it's brashness. It's cocky and again, I just love that because that's a persona he created.
Yeah.
But that's him, and it's a character.
Yeah.
But I just see everybody now just getting on microphones and this persona coming out and trying to be something or not. You know, and I hate that and I cringe at it. And again, like I said, 30-odd-year-old men acting like it's like they've kids at home, and it's like. And then another thing is like, you know, you look at like Henry Cejudo lately, and he's done it all. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 37 years old, 2-time world champion at UFC, never be done, and like he is still champion. You know.
What is he trying? What does he want? What's he getting from it? Like?
It's tough, man. It's tough to watch. And look, who am I to say? Who am I? But like, it's like for me, it's looking at him. It's like, and look, maybe that's why obviously he got to where he is that striving for greatness. But it's like, I want to be, when I'm done, you know.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah. What's your ideal age to retire?
I don't like putting an ideal age on it because I don't know how well or when I'll be doing it. But you know, I can't see myself doing it past my early 30s. Like I can't. Really? No, definitely not. No, because I want to have a family. I want to have a family. I'm 29 this year. There's life after fighting. Yeah. This is my life. It has given me the man I am sitting today. You know, God has given me this path to take, and I took it. And you know, everything down to even reading books. Even down to reading books, you know, on things and or you know, anything. This is down to fighting because it was the characters I was looking up to. Yeah. You know, and I always say that, like, you're not looking up to say the lads in the estate, or you're looking up to these characters that are like, looking after looking after themselves, going for something, and like Jamie loves that quote, you know, you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you become the sixth or whatever, the fifth or whatever, you know. So but that's it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was surrounding myself, I was looking at my coach at the time, Conor Dillon, as a young teenager, you know, fighting for Irish titles and stuff at the time, and outrun the roads 30 kilometres, you know, altitude masks. I was doing that. I was I was wanting to be him.
Yeah.
Looking up to him, and again maybe back to like my early childhood. I was looking up to my dad and like heard he was this and that, or again like that. We could now just smoke, but that was. And now it's like I'm looking up to like the lads in the gym, the Richie Smullins, or like the the Brad Catonas, the ultimate professionals and the ultimate hard workers, and like me coach John Cavan, looking at what he got out of his life, and his family, his kid, and this gym, and I'm looking at all that. That's who I'm looking up to. You know what I mean? That's who's around me, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then as well, like when am I going to start family?
Okay.
Can I see myself starting a family when I'm doing this? No.
Yeah, not the right time.
You're too selfish. I'm too selfish at the minute.
Yeah.
It's all about me. You know what I mean? Like I said, I haven't even felt I've been properly a good partner, a good bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're just constantly thinking about yourself. Always. It's such a selfish sport. And when that happens, like I said, when I'm done with that. The competitive side of me, the ego is boom, it's gone. Because it's all about them now. And Jordan Peterson says you never become truly mature until somebody you're responsible for somebody else, or somebody basically having a kid. And
or a dog baby.
Well that's it as well. And like as well, like, it's like how could you be doing this and
no, can't be done.
And again I'd have to be fighting at such a high level that I'd be like maybe fighting for world titles, and again I can't see into the future, but it'd have to be such a high level that it was worth it, and
something that could change your family life.
And like it wouldn't be like about doing it for them, because I don't like if you're fighting for big money, like it's like right, you're doing it for them, whatever, but like I'm doing this for myself, lads. Don't forget, like what I mean, like, I'm doing this because I want it, and the life it's given me, and it's to give back, because the life it's given me, the person has molded me into the man I am today. But like I said, I don't know the number, but who knows, you know what I mean? And I have plans after fighting. I want to go back and study and get a job, because I know I'll never be a millionaire with this. I'll never be financially secure. John Kavanagh has how many fighters come through his door, and he says to me, I've only one fighter that's made retirement money. Who's that?
Yeah.
And it's Conor McGregor. And as well as that, he's the biggest success story ever in MMA, and ever will be. And look at everybody else, they make their millions, but at the highest level, so
at the pinnacle. For lack of a better word.
Very good. Love it.
We're gonna do we've never done this before, but it's gonna be good. It's Instagram deep dive, so we have a couple of photos from your Instagram. You've only got say 10-15 seconds, just tell us how you feel when you see these pictures.
Okay.
We'll throw them on the screen for people watching.
Okay, deadly. New beginnings. New beginnings. That was the professional debut, and that was exciting times, relief, and new beginning.
Good.
Yeah, that was very good times. Life changing for my brother Darryl. And for me and him, very good bonding experience. He won the bronze medal at the European Championships, and that was his Everest. And then he went and had a normal life after that, and I would say it's a success story. That was my first time meeting Conor McGregor back in 2013, before his he just had his UFC debut. Nobody really knew him. I'll give you a good one. Lauren was actually getting his autograph as a kind of a slag, it was slagging me. I got his autograph, like. Well, little did she know that would be actually worth a few quid now, Well, actually, and then it's funny, like, you look at that and you're like, I was meeting him then at the time, and then fast forward, actually 10 years fast forward. I was getting a phone call to go away. To train with him, so that's just mad in itself. You know what I mean?
Next one.
That was probably to this day, one of my biggest performances, and Jordan Barton fight, and getting the third round submission. I was losing the scorecards, which I thought was winning, but really, really, really tough fight. Took a lot of damage, and to come back in the third round to get the win, and the crowd reaction I got off that was worthy to get another post from everybody. It was serious public, and I think that was everybody's favourite fight. I think that was everybody's favourite fight.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit chills here looking at that. I tell you why, because I think I might have, I think I quoted that online and walking by faith. Yeah. And it's just giving me those feelings down for 3 weeks, and that's what it is, lad. It's just, in that moment, it's just trying to be present and walking by faith. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was last year again, like I said, 10 years drive. 10 years, and there I am now training with Conor McGregor and over in France, south of France. Yeah. Getting the opportunity to train him, work with some of his coaches, and to this day, the nutritionist Tristan Kennedy and Olympian Phil Sutcliffe, just the experience itself was unbelievable. Getting to go on the Lamborghini yacht, see the lifestyle, and good experience. Just crazy, lads. Yeah. Crazy.
Shout out Conor McGregor. Yeah. Right, you're watching the Pinnacle Podcast with Ciaran Clarke. That's the end of part 2. We'll be back very soon. Welcome back to part 3 of the Pinnacle Podcast. We're sitting here with Ciaran Clarke. So, we were just talking, we just done a deep dive on Instagram, but we'll move on from that. Talk to us about, or if you think it's important, mental health awareness in combat sports. I think it's something that's talked about enough.
The
ups and downs.
No, it's definitely not. But I think, to be honest, like Paddy Pimblett shed a bit of light in there recently. Obviously, he lost a friend, but yeah, no, I don't think so, because it's this sport is brutal, lads. Like, and what I mean, like, not just obviously the physicality of it, but like, I lose my next 2 fights. And, was he as good as he was, or I always look at like the likes of BJ Penn, like how good that man was, and like what he done and weight class he fought, and I don't have to get into it, but like look at him, and like black belt in under 4 years, and then look how his career ended up, and maybe the Dan Hardy was recently. And again, puts it in perspective. But Dan Hardy was recently training in the Blue Basement in New York, and some guy was like, he was training with some guy, and he was like, how long you train? Dan Hardy, like he's like, so like what I mean is like, I've often got like, myself even like, after winning fights and you destroyed your man though, you know what I mean, like would you say to give you a tougher test, like? And it's like, I understand, I feel like, I can feel what they're saying, and it's like, it's just because I bet him, is it? Or is it because like, because I, got 10-8 rounds, or really dominated, or like, do you know what I'm trying to say? And it's like, but then like, when you lost, then, he was good then, or like, do you know, so it's like, again, like that, you can really think about all what other people saying, and again, like that, as I said, I'm like, I have a lot better perspective on things like that, like, and again, hearing stories of Dan Hardy getting asked long you're training, and like the likes of people maybe forgetting about BJ Penn, or like, all these, like, and again, like that, as I said, as long as you're doing it for yourself and you're enjoying the sport and you take it for what it is, and again, I don't think it's like, I see a lot of young lads now, and it's like. And this will all come into the question, but like, I see a lot of young lads now, they want to be professional fighters and all that, and it's like, if I could go back and had the mentality, like, I would have, I don't know, because what I mean is like, if I had it's never a plan B, it's not that, it's not like to fall back, and it's not, because I used to get freaked out with that, like, no, not plan B, it's not that, it's like, again, it gives you peace of mind to know, like, this isn't the be-all, end-all. You're not going to become, the 0.111, you know what I mean? And I see lads now, it's like, they're going on all in it. And again, like that, as I said, I did go all in it, and it's paying off now, as I said, but like I said, and this is me sitting in this situation, but what I mean, like, look like me teammate, Brad Katona, and he's an engineer. He's an engineer degree. Now, maybe he had the money, which I didn't have to study and stuff, and now he's at the living. He's had to completely change his whole life and lives in Dublin now. That's a sacrifice. But what I mean is, like, he has that as well, and he's a black belt. He fought in the UFC. He's there. He won the Ultimate Fighter 2 times. You can do that. So what I'd say to maybe young fighters growing up is like, have something there, like, and and that's even for like down to the little things what we were talking about, like being able to like go out with your girlfriend, like being able to buy her a meal, or like to have the few pound, not struggling and or you know what I mean, like that, having a little job on the side that like you're able to throw the few pound to the mother, or able to rent, or these little things, and like, you know, responsibilities and things like that, like, you know what I mean, that's what I'd say, you know, and again, it's just it's tough, like, you know, and I want to give this advice to certain people, you know what I mean, like, because, you know, I felt that as well, and again, like that, it's coming from me sitting here, it's like, would I do it a different way? Look, I can't say I would or wouldn't, and that's the road I'd have took, but I'm just saying, if you can, if you're living in Dublin, I had to travel to Dublin to train with the best, but if you're living in Dublin, like I seen the teammate of mine, Ciaran Clarke, there he is in his work pants every day coming in, and I just love seeing that. It's just like, fair play to you, man. It's just like, you're going for it, and he's walking away, and he's maybe, I don't know if he's a Sparks or what he is, but I see him coming in, and I just love seeing that. He's coming in his little van, and there he is training away like a professional, and I just love seeing it. I just like, love it, man. I just love seeing it, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I love seeing the lad that was me, like going all in and working weekends and travelling, and it's like, but it's just like, it's just such, you know, it does put such pressure on them then. And again, go back to your mental health question, is like, for after fighting and like, you know, or you know, you see all these fighters, the Diego Sanchez's, or, you know, all these fighters, and it's tough to watch, or like, you know, even some lads in the Irish MMA scene, you know, not mentioning any names, it's just like, I wish it was, and again, lads, you have to remember, you're taking knocks to the head. It's not,
just know when it's over.
It's not like blowing your knee out, and all these things happen as well, and do your back in. But it's, you know, it's the head injuries and these things, you know. So I think, you know, there needs to be a, you know, maybe what'll happen is, if the amateur scene gets bigger, maybe if that's the route to take more. But again, like that John Kavanagh said, like, you know, his success story would be maybe of my brothers. He went to the IMAFs, trained hard for years, like a professional, and done the nine, all of it, competed abroad, Vegas, and World Championships, got the bronze medal, European. He should have went on to win the gold. He was very well capable, but like, and then that was it. Then he was done, got his life skills from it, got his skills, and went in off and been a plumber. And in my opinion, that's a success story. You know what I mean? So like, what I mean is just like those, you know. And again, like that after fighting, like, and again, like, I do have good people around me, like the likes of Dave Roach. Now he's like, he you know, be chatting to him, or John, and like, they're trying to set you up, like, and they're like, you know, maybe like open your little business, or you know, these people, you need these people around you. You don't need people to be telling you, like, you know, good advice, you know, because we're not all Conor McGregors. We'll never be, you know, and you know, and again, we're not all Ciaran Clarke. So what do I mean? That my route might not be the route for you, and your route might be different than, you know, so if that makes sense, you know what I mean? So
that's fair, another thing that goes hand in hand these days with mental health is social media. I think it's something that I suppose two questions there. Do you think it's something that, well, first of all, is it something you pay attention to? And second of all, do you think it's important when you're involved in the sport?
Yes, it is. It is, and I'll tell you why, because, so I train full time, 2-3 times a day sometimes, and you know, it's full time for me, you know, and so if I this is my job, you know what I mean, it's my career. So if I notice I'm not posting, whereas the lad, and I said this before, like, there's black belts and there's black belts in social media. And I'm not a black belt in social media, nor a black belt in anything. But so you know, lads would be great posting online and posting. But then I notice when I'm not posting a lot, when I need to be posting more, you're always getting onto me. But like you know, people are like, oh, you trained today? Are you still training? I'm like, I started in a time where I was like, if you took a camera to take a photo, and like, I'm not talking as if I'm an outlet, but it's just, it was a time, it was social media. Social media wasn't coming in, and it wasn't like every session take a photo or a video. It was like, if someone took a photo or a video, you'd be laughing at you, man, you know what I mean? Like, you know, is he taking out the photo from his wall? Like, or tell his mates that you trained. And now we're in this world where it's like, if you don't post, everyone's like,
they're alone.
It's mad. I just think it's crazy, you know, and like I understand the importance of social media, been on it and stuff for fighting
And it's a tool that can be used to accelerate your career.
Oh, massively. I actually think it's it's actually a thing to look at now. Like, just give an example for the UFC. If you look at your followers and stuff, and how marketable are you? You know, how marketable are you? And like, you know, you put bums in seats, as they say, and it's funny, you know. I don't agree with it, but that's it. Like, you know, so it is tough. If I wasn't doing the sport and you know, understand the
requirements for it,
I wouldn't be on it. Because again, no, I wouldn't be on it at all. Don't care. You don't need to see me stuff and. No, like, and like a lot of time, like I like that. I wouldn't be the one there, like, you know, you didn't put Valentine's post about me, Lauren, or you didn't say happy birthday to me. Don't care, you know. It's like, you know, and again, some people get wrapped up in that. It's like, why didn't you don't post your nephew at all? It's like, that's me little nephew. Like, it's not my kid to be posting up online, and like, does that make me not as close as him? I look, you know. So it's just, I take it for what it is. Don't get me wrong. It's probably changed me in the sense that. I don't know if I could ever be without it, in the sense, like, I do a good bit of charity work and stuff, and people get onto me and stuff, so I cannot have to use it
for good.
For good, you know. So, but like that, I'm not gonna be posting. And again, maybe my sponsors aren't too happy with that, but I'm just not good. I just feel it's an effort to. I just feel it's an effort to, you know. And it's not even the effort of it. It's because it's so easy, obviously, but I just feel it's just. Not me, you know.
Don't tell people that. That'll be out of a joke.
Make sure you post that something. Make sure you call that.
Perfect. So we'll move on to just a few career highlights. So tell us most memorable fight and biggest win.
I always say this, but it definitely is the Tobias Harila fight back in 2017 in the World Championships in Bahrain. Backstory to that, I was in the quarterfinals of the European Championships in Romania. Tobias Harila, which is he's still professional to this day. He's very good record. He's probably in the cusp of getting the UFC contract, or you know, fought for Cage Warriors. But anyway, he in the IMAFs he was a formidable striker. He was, I think, he did an 88% knockout rate. And he was just like putting lads clean out, like, you know, and to do that in amateur gloves as well, it's very, very hard, you know. So he was putting lads out, and so in the European Championships I fought the day before. I was fighting a Portuguese lad, bet him in the first round choke. He was fighting the day before Tobias. He fought a Swedish lad. A Russian, undefeated Russian, 18-0. KO'd the Russian out cold. Okay. So then I was fighting the next day, and I was confident. I knew I was aware. Anyway, didn't fight him. The next day, took him down first round, won the first round, confident. Was losing the second, because he cut me. But I was confident to come into the third. End of the second round, broke off, he just caught me with a flurry. Boom, boom, caught me, dropped me. And fight was over. I was out there, like, I was conscious, but I wasn't there. So if I had got one more, I would have been put out, like. And that was the only time I was ever stopped, knocked out, you know, per se, in a fight, still to this day. And first time dropped in a fight as well at the time. And so, like, that was tough for him, you know what I mean? And he went on to win silver now at the Europeans, and then he went on to win the Asian Championships that year. Won gold again, knocking everybody out. And then it was the World Championships that year, end of the year, November, Bahrain. It was picked to go there, and then he was the number one seed. And that year was the first year they brought in the gold kits. What that meant was we all wore rash guards, and he was number one seed. He was the boy to win, and they were going around with the cameras, and he was storming. He was storming this, like, he was winning this, you know. And his aura, everything about him, I felt it on him. He was winning it. So he had a bye the first day because he was the first seed. There was 28 in the bracket, and he got the bye, so he didn't have to fight the first day because he's the number one seed. And I was fighting a Brazilian guy, knew nothing about him, couldn't find anything on him online, and I was like, nothing, like. And I was fighting a Brazilian, and I was to fight him the next day if I won, and he'd a bye. I was like, right. So seeing the Brazilian in the pads, he looked good Muay Thai. I was like, right, I'm taking this fella down, and I kind of went against my head because the history of Brazilians was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I thought he'd be a sick, you know, and they did a good Jiu-Jitsu, but I was like, no, I just felt confident taking them. That's my game. And again, that was me going back to me, you know, what I was good at. And anyway, we went into the fight and completely controlled him, took him down, ground and pound him, really, you know, never was able to look back in that fight, but really controlled him, really, you know, getting the man to control, took him down every round, you know. And, you know, good fight, got that win against Brazilian. Next day was the boys. He's fresh. The next day I was, you know, getting my hands wrapped. You have to keep your hands open. And my arms were fatigued. Like I was like, oh, I'm tired, you know. Yeah. And anyway, we went for a little nap, and woke up and like they're like went to the toilet, and then they were like, right, you're on. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. And then I actually think that went for me. I didn't have to warm up. Yeah. Just Ciaran Clarke did a little bit of a pads with me before it. And me coach Conor Dillon, which was great to have him there, because coach John Kavanagh wasn't able to be there till the next day. Yeah. And my coach Conor Dillon, very first coach Conor Dillon, and a teammate I met along the way, Ciaran Clarke, was in my corner, and I was fighting the boys. But anyway, he was winning. I could see, but I just locked. He felt it, and I just locked eyes on him, and I was like, this was redemption. And it really, I broke him mentally in the sense that, you know, he couldn't. I seen him in the stool in the third round. He was just shaking his head like that, you know. He didn't have an answer for the wrestling. Yeah. You know, maybe if it was pro, whatever, he could have maybe threw his elbows or the knees up. But I knew in amateur the rules, he was just frustrated. I had the chink in the arm. I found it and I got it, you know. And I just controlled the 3 rounds. Took him down for the 3 rounds. He split my ear open. I had to get stitches in my ear. He's just such a hard hitter, like. And that was me redemption, and it was just that win to this day, and biggest win, and it's like maybe people don't even realise, because obviously I've had these 3 arena big wins and coming back getting dropped and knee, you know, but that for me that was it for me. And Lauren always still says to this day, if you can beat that to boys fella, you'll beat anyone, because he's an animal, you know what I mean, you know. So it was 1-1, you know what I mean. So you know, but that was it for me.
What's he doing now?
He's like I said, he's professional. I think he's record of 11-3, and he was going to fight in the Contender Series, and he was tipped to fight for the Cage Warriors World titles, and but he's fighting in Sweden now soon, and he's like that still. He's still knocking lads out, and he's in the cusp of UFC contract, so he's doing really well, like, you know.
Brilliant. Moves on to the next one. Could be the same answer, but toughest opponent, would it be him?
Yeah, I'd say up there. I've had many tough opponents like that, amateur and stuff as well, and you know, I'd say, you know, there was a fight where I'll say this because it's a bit different, but the toughest, like, I fought a Russian he's undefeated now at the minute. His name is Magomed Magomedov. He's a lightweight or a welterweight now at the minute, and I fought him. So he was a good lad, but I actually felt when I fought him, he was just better. Does that make sense? I think some of the losses I've had, and I was like, I didn't necessarily feel they were better. I just should have zigged when they zagged, you know. Whereas I actually felt that was my last amateur fight at the World Championships. He's a Russian, and he's undefeated pro now. He's like 11 or 12-0. Like, he's very good. But I think I just felt he was better. So I'd say maybe the best. He was better. You know what I mean? Whereas so I'll give you that answer because again, toughest opponent, probably, you know.
Fair enough. We'll move away from fighting a wee bit. You've got a couple of different interests outside of fighting. The dogs.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, they're the thorn beside there. I know, yeah, like so I have 2 dogs now, 2 American bullies, 2 XL American bullies, and for people that don't know, they're fairly big dogs, you know what I mean? If I was to look at them, you'd probably say they outweigh me, you know. We have my male Kaiser, I have him nearly 7 years. He's 50 kilos in the rounds, and I have a daughter, him then as well, Khaleesi. She's 40 kilos. 2 different contrasted dogs. One is just real chill, loves going out, and then the other's just like, you know, mad. You know what I mean? Just stone mad. You know, run through a wall, like literally. Just she's like a wild dog, and then Kaiser's like real. She'd run through the puddle, and he's like, he'll go around the puddle. You know what I mean? So 2 type of dogs. But yeah, like that. I drive a wee little van, and that's what I have for them. You know, throw them in the back every day, get out to the fields. And that's where I have my time with them, and what's that mean? Jamie's been out with me as well, and that's where I do a lot of me thinking. Could be listening to, you know, little videos, podcasts, or that's where
It's in the routine?
It's in the routine. Every day, 6 days, Sunday day of rest. It used to be every day, but it used to hold me. Yeah. But 6 days a week, I get them out in between the 2 sessions, in between the first and the second, get them out every day. And really enjoyable. And then as well, it is very hard when you're, you could have a little niggle or an injury, believe it or not, like it's most of the time when it's hard. It's when you're really tired from training, you're broke up and you have to get it done. But because they don't know, but a lot of the time people think, it's probably the hard weather is getting it. But it's actually the hard weather I love because there's not many people around. And, you really enjoy it. So exactly.
Do you think it complements the fighting career?
No, it does. Well, funny enough, when I was working with the nutritionist Tristan Kennedy, he was wanting to know about me, all about my life, my activity levels, and I told him, look, I walk my dogs for at least 40 minutes every day. That's bare minimum. And he was like, it's funny you say that because when you look at your fights, your cardio, it's always better than your opponents, and or even at the least you always look in control, and you're always fit. You have a good engine. And you're saying that there's actually probably a correlation there between the two. And I said, what do you mean? You out walking all the time, you're constantly, basically what he was trying to say is like if you've a pyramid, zone 2 training or blue zone training or that kind of training where you're, aerobically moving, which could be walking, that's kind of like, it's like how you explain it, it's like pouring the concrete. You're just constantly putting a layer. Yes. So if you can imagine a pyramid, my layer is getting wider and wider, so that means my top is bigger. Whereas, my peak is higher than yours because, which then I got obsessed with that and I was like, no way. So I was flat walking the dogs, but no, look, I was like, no way. So I love walking, you know what I mean? And I love getting out with my girlfriend and going for walks and stuff, really enjoy it. I don't know, just getting out there and I love hiking. That's another one of my hobbies. I love hiking. Love it, like just love getting up to the top. When I don't have a fight around, I'm able to enjoy the little treat and get a little scone and a little bit of jam and butter, and cup of tea or a sandwich up the top, and I just love them things. But it complements me fighting because it's like that's another thing I have.
Give your mind a rest.
Yeah, it's like give me mind a rest, or and I love even the types of dogs they are, and even I got into I bred my dog a few times and things like that. I really enjoy it.
Brilliant. We've only a few minutes left, so I'll ask you to sum this up in 60 seconds if you can. Ooh. Advice for young fighters.
Probably touching a lot of it. What I've been saying, advice. I don't know if you probably want to snip this up, but like I said, just enjoy it, lads. Enjoy it because it's not forever, and really, really enjoy it. And as well, don't think it's the be all end all, and it's not. And that doesn't mean not going all in or have a plan B. I don't mean that. It's just enjoy it, and enjoy it for as long as you can. Because again, like I said, sitting here in this position, and a lot of the time I used to think, when you be winning or losing, it's all people say, it's all experience, and I used to hate that. I'd be like, I want to be winning, or I want to be, but it's actually, it really is, it is all experience. And if it is, you're wanting to go pro, remember amateur is where you learn your lessons, and that's what I'd say.
Brilliant. We'll finish off with a few quick fire questions, and then we'll finish up. So you want to go ahead?
Okay, Ciaran. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Submission or knockout?
Submission.
Your go-to pre-fight meal?
Pre-fight. Pre-fight, I'm not even sure. I'll tell you what, I'd say what I would have done kind of as a little, routine would have been Nando's after the weigh.
Yeah. So
Nando's,
okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, take that.
Train in the morning or the evening?
Morning.
Gi, no gi?
No gi.
Your MMA greatest of all time?
Whoa, lads, that's very tough.
Ciaran Clarke.
I'm going to say, just for everything you've done, Conor McGregor.
Okay. Jiu-jitsu or wrestling?
I'm going to say jiu-jitsu.
Favourite training music?
None.
No?
No. No, I don't listen to training music, no.
Cool. Fight in Ireland or abroad?
Just this time, at the moment, I'd say abroad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heavy bag or speed bag?
Oh, heavy bag.
Favourite venue you fought in?
I fought the 3 arena the most, so I'd say the 3 arena, you know.
Okay. Any venue that you want to fight in that you haven't?
Dream venue?
Dream venue would definitely be, you know, Madison Square Garden.
Okay. Fight shorts or fight tights?
Oh, shorts.
Favourite training? Favourite part of your training?
Favourite part of my training would be, it's MMA sparring.
Favourite sport athlete to watch?
Can't be an MMA fighter.
Okay.
And it can't be a fucking Liverpool player either.
I'm going to say the person that I've been kind of watching at the minute, probably
Look like
do you know what? I have really got into watching when the not a specific athlete around, but was when the Rugby World Cup was on. I got really I was really enjoying watching the Irish lads,
right.
and really enjoyed watching them. And I'd say even looking into the All Blacks even and the South Africans and that, you know, just how they do things. That really interests me. All of that stuff.
Brilliant.
Not to get into, I mentioned before, the Roy Keanes and the Carrolls. Love how they break things down. I just love all that, you know.
Brilliant.
And then we'll leave it on favourite MMA memory so far.
And we can't skip that one. Walkout song.
Walkout song, bits and pieces.
Banger.
Absolute bangers. Jamie's closing out tunes apparently.
Favourite
MMA moment would be, you know, moment. I'd say probably the Barton fight and just the
end of it.
The whole experience around it. I'd say that's what I mean. You know, fight wise would have been the boys, but the experience around it would have been that. You know, just the whole, everybody's memory of it was, and the night we had after, and just the food even after, just tasted better or something. And there's something about just getting, took a lot of damage, and there's something about just being stitched up and just, as mad as it sounds, lads, and as much you don't want it, but there's just something about getting up out of the bed the next day and you're broke up and going to get that food or something. You know, it's just or meeting your friends and family and going for that cup of tea with the nanny, or you know, just again the simple things become so more enjoyable after, and those memories as a whole is
small
what
things
I'm trying to recreate, lads. To be honest, I'm trying to create that. I'm trying to, like I've said to Jamie before, I'm trying to create that every fight to look back and be like, I caught that. I was walking on that in training and I got that, and no way, like, you know, trying to create that highlight reel, you know, and then memories after they look back, you know.
Brilliant. So, March 22nd, anyone looking to go get tickets, where can they get them?
Yeah, so it's all online this time. I'll have no physical tickets, so like it might suit people. They can sit as close as they want or as far as they want. You pay what you want. And tickets, you can get them on Ticketmaster, and the link is in my bio on Instagram. If you want to follow from there, if you follow that link, it will put you seated with people that have been buying my tickets. And like that, to be buses on the way up from Drogheda, as always, from Murray's coaches. You know, everybody meets up before and after and stuff. So like that, it's always the usual, and different scenery this time in Belfast. So yeah, look, it'd be great to get as many people as you can. And again, as always, thanks for the support. Thank you to the two of you lads. And thanks for having me on, boys.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been great.
Thank you for coming down. Thanks for the chat. Inspiring.
Thank you, lads.
That's the end of the episode. Ciaran Clarke, thank you very much.
Thank you.